Firstly, good evening to Islington People's Rights, and I'm really sorry I can't be with you this evening, but we have arranged for a special IPR meeting to take place in Parliament here so we can have a good discussion about the kind of society welfare system that we want to all achieve. I want to say first of all a big thank you to Islington People's Rights. Existed over all these decades, represented people in times of hardship, worked with the community, going through all sorts of difficulties, and I've been proud to be able to work with Islington People's Rights, and my local campaign office has always benefited a great deal from the work done by IPR. And many of our constituents, people who are going through a very hard time where they can't access the benefits they're entitled to, often unaware of what they're entitled to, have been helped out by Islington People's Rights, and I really appreciate that, because it's our voluntary sector that is the glue of our community. It's the voluntary sector that keeps so many things going. We have problems in our borough. The first one is the underfunding of our local authority by central government and the massive cuts being imposed on the council. Secondly is the housing issue. We have good quality council housing stock. The government wants some of that sold off because they say it's too valuable for ordinary people to live in. I absolutely, profoundly disagree. Everybody deserves somewhere decent and secure to live. They were doing the same with the housing associations, forcing them to sell properties. And then we have around a third of our community living in the private rented sector on short-term tenancies, on very high rents, often above the benefit cap level put in by the government, thus forcing families to move away. We have in effect a social cleansing of central London by deliberate government policy. We have to and will oppose all that and support the council where it is able to build more council housing to try and deal with the problems of our community. Immediately in Parliament, I'm opposing the attempts by the government to cut tax credits. These are working tax credits for people in work to get something to assist them to be able to bring up families and live reasonably. Obviously, it'd be much better if people were paid much higher wages and didn't need to access so many of these things. But that is something that we will campaign for, a living wage that is really a living wage. But in the meantime, the government is proposing to take up to £1,300 a year away from 3 million families in this country. Some of those families live in our borough of Islington. We'll know next week in the comprehensive spending review what exactly is the fate of that. I hope the government will back down on that and relent. But we still have the Welfare Reform Bill, which will take another £12 billion out of the pockets of the poorest. I want to live in a society where there is work for young people and for all. There is decent housing for all, and there is a welfare system that supports people when they need it, but also supports people in work when they're able to get to work. That surely is something we can all campaign for. I'm proud to be able to be the MP for Islington North, proud to stand up for the people of Islington North, but very angry at the way ordinary people are being treated. We ought to be able to live in a society where poverty is a distant memory, not the sad reality for so many living amongst such riches. Thank you very much, and again, my apologies I can't be with you tonight, but we'll meet again very soon here in Westminster.